Madsen is howling on James McFadden.
It's basically like rebuilding a car basically after the race, where you take all the injectors out, clean all the pistons, everything like that, take the exhaust pipes off, make sure nothing's scorched, everything like that.
G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Work Area Podcast. Just the boring stuff quickly. KRM Hot Shots, my little business that I got going. Keep the messages coming in, and if anyone has any links with that, flick me a message and we'll get it sorted. TPE group, Chris and the boys here obviously give us this space and let me steal his chairs out of his office, and I forget him most times to put them back, and I know he gets grumpy. So yeah, TPE group, appreciate you boys. And then the other little crappy thing I hate doing is like and subscribe. If you're on Spotify or Apple, if you could just if you want to subscribe to it, it actually helps me out with some stuff that I've got coming up. So I really appreciate that. In studio this week, Lee Redmond, mate, you've done plenty, and we're going to go through all of it. But thanks for coming in. A bit of a drive for you.
Yeah, a little bit of a drive from Chidlow, mate, but enjoyed it. And I've been looking forward to this. Be a bit of fun.
Nah, it should be good, mate. I appreciate you coming in. I guess, mate, like I said, we'll start with it now, mate. You obviously, what's the plans for you this year, Speedway related? Yeah, I know you got the limited. I guess just talk us through what's going on with that.
Yeah, we obviously currently got the Speedcar up for sale, which we'll take down to the swap meet this weekend. We've had a couple of, I suppose people inquire about it. But Sprintcar wise this year with the limited, we're going to put Veronica McCann in the car for probably about 5 or 6 nights. Just something I wanted to do for a while. Ronnie's been a mate of mine for years, but I would like to see more women in our sport.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can help in any way to contribute to that, I want to keep pushing that. I've always said, wouldn't it be cool to be at the skids and watch a sprint car going past with Myers on the side, or Rip Curl or Quicksilver, like that's. Don't think it's been touched too hard yet. It'd be nice to see that. So as for that, I'll probably have a couple of drivers myself, and if and when I feel like it. These days, I still love it. Still have a deep passion for it, but I kind of got to the stage of my life where my son, he's 9 now, so I've become a soccer dad, and which I'm enjoying. We ride our bikes a lot. I love that he loves to ride his push bike, so that's something that we do a lot together. And so just a few little things change there. May have a World Speedway champion racing that car this year as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just trying to iron out a few details with that, because he's got to get fit. That'll probably give away who it is, but it's all looking pretty good.
Mate, just with that, you've been around the Speedway forever. Like, what is your favourite class?
I get asked this a bit. Look, personally, it would be the Speedway bike.
Yep.
I suppose I've raced cars now probably longer than I have raced bikes, but bikes is what I was good at. That's probably in the nutshell. And I still haven't never felt that same feeling you get from when you're at the start line and you bring the motor up, and they're like we were just talking about previous to the show. They're a 500cc push bike pretty much with no brakes. So try and explain that to someone and they look at you like you're a weirdo. But
it's because you would be a weirdo, mate.
Yeah,
Someone's built a 500. I said they have lawnmowers with brakes.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Yeah, they do. Yeah, we were talking about that, weren't we? But nothing beats. It's like taking off in a jet plane, but it just kind of hits you really, really hard, and it's just good fun, mate. And they're dangerous, but kind of back in my teenager years and even into my early 30s, you still can't beat that feeling. It was something I was lucky enough to do professionally for a while, and did it for an extended time, and it was that's probably my favourite class for sure.
But I remember seeing Ty Wolfenden on that bike track at the Motorplex for the first time ever, and how hard he came into those corners was so stupid. Like, it was an exhibition. Like, I think there might have been some other people on the track, but they may as well pulled in. He would come in so hard. He would back it into the corner, and he was just full noise. Yeah,
it's funny. You've actually got to go in wide open, so that the wheel's spinning.
Yep.
And then you turn the bike really hard. So you either, if it's a tight track, you actually drop the bars down, and then when you get the first part of the turn done, you basically lift them back up and then move back an inch on the seat to get grip, and then pull the throttle on again.
It looks so sick when they do that. As
Yeah.
they exit and they move back and it's like half a wheelie. It looks so cool.
It's something I still really enjoy talking about because it was good, really good times for me. But and I look back like now, my core bunch of mates are still bike mates.
Yeah.
Still to this day, like Dave Cheshire and Steve Johnson, and these guys that I hang around, very very often and talk to every day. And like Lee Nash is another one of my really good mates. He's my first car mate.
Yep.
I suppose you could say. So it's kind of funny how it's all worked out for me. But bikes holds a really special place in my heart, and I still love it. I still like going for a ride. I've just been actually doing up a couple of my old bikes, and one of my old upright bikes, and I've just about finished that now. So I've still got the bike that we won the Australian championship with Chris Holder. It's currently in my lounge room because I'm doing a renovation at home. But just they're good fun, mate. Really good fun.
Is there any tracks now? I know there's the ones up Pinjarra and that. Is there any actual speedway tracks now that could hold a bike? Like I grew up in Newman. I remember that sidecars and solids were big up there. And well, I was in there in like the 90s, so I don't know if you were there through there.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Yep. So is there any like local tracks that could run one?
Back in the day, we used to race at Claremont on a Friday night, and then you would go to Collie on a Saturday night.
Yep.
Sometimes Geraldton, Mora back in the day when that was a flat track. Now it's quite banked. Do remember racing at Geraldton. Bunbury we raced at sometimes. I mean, there's no way you'd run a bike around that now. But
well, you can. Sometimes you can't run a sprint car around
that. But like there was quite a few tracks that we could run at on a regular basis. Collie was kind of the one. I think that's where I won my first state title. But that was really good because once again the dirt was different then. It was kind of like Claremont. Like the tracks then didn't have so much clay.
Yep.
So you had a bit of sand mixture and dolomite or whatever it was, and you could run both on. I think now with the way how high horsepower everything is in the car divisions, it's really hard to do that because they need clay, whereas bikes don't really need clay. But it's.
What about what's the bikes like now? If in like the local scene here, like Pinjar is obviously where they run.
Yep.
A lot of their stuff is that sort of the last stand out there, or is there things coming in place that might improve? Like maybe this new track out the Motorplex, is that any scope for the bikes on that?
I'm not sure about that. I think that's something you'd probably ask Trevor Reynolds. But I do know that in the past, obviously, they've had a few goes on the infield track at the Motorplex. I'm not sure why they don't keep doing that, to be honest. To me, like the more tracks you race, the better you are. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the track there. I think the tracks are all right. I know for the sidecars, there's an issue with the inside those concrete panels.
Yep.
You can't have that with sidecar racing under the FIM rules. But so that's got a good valid point. Why not? But the bikes are okay. Generally it's just Pinjar. And I know that what they're doing out there now has been fantastic. There's probably not enough bikes at the moment, like particularly seniors. I've noticed that's kind of dropped off a bit. And that look at the end of the day, there might not be anything they're doing wrong. It's just the lie of the land. I have noticed over the years you kind of get periods in 2 or 3 years where a division is strong and then it drops off for whatever reason. Like the Speedcars particularly have done that a lot over the last 30 years. I did a podcast a couple of weeks ago and I remember Watsy telling me that, Ian Watts, telling me that they used to have 3 divisions of Speedcars at Claremont.
Oh, like an A, B, C.
Yeah, literally 3 divisions. And, like with bikes, when I first started racing at Claremont, you had you rolled up there on a Friday night and they had the solo encourage races. So there was like 10, 12 guys vying for 5 spots to get into the main program.
Yeah, okay.
That's how many Speedway bikes were about then. Like now, I haven't seen that for years.
Yeah, okay.
So when I was riding and Jono was riding and Greg Bartlett and Glenn Doyle, like we'd roll up on a Friday night. I know the first night I rolled up, I was riding a stock bike, a motocross bike. So I'd retired from racing motocross and Kawasaki were good enough to give me my last bike. So Con Margo rang, because Dad was commentating at Claremont back then, and he said, would Lee be interested in riding a stock bike down? We're going to reintroduce the class. I was like, yeah, I'll have a go at it. Because I've been down, I've been with Dad every Friday night ever since I could remember, sitting under the stands under him while he commentated. And I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go. So I went, had a ride, and I finished top 3 first couple of nights. And a guy came out of the crowd, Colin Thompson, I think his name was, and he was a Speedway bike rider from probably late 70s into the 80s. And he still had a bike. He said, do you want to have a go on it? I was like, yeah, okay. And so when I got there, I was like, I did the practice on the Thursday, I think it was, and I got around a right, slid straight away, and he got a big excited. He says, well, why don't we enter and go and have a run tomorrow? I was like, yeah, okay. Because I was just doing it for fun. I honestly thought we'd do it once and, I probably wouldn't see him again. And I went down there on a Friday and it rained all that day. So they helped me, didn't it? Motocross. So I won both my encourage races and got straight into the main program. And I remember looking around going, man, there's a lot of guys that have been doing this for a long time. I actually never got into the program. But they kept rolling up every Friday night to do it. And here comes me, smart ass, and does it first night. And I will say, though, I made the main show and had 4 races and ran 4 last.
Yeah. Because it just must be almost like, not a pivot point, but on those bikes where you can roll around, but then there's just this massive jump to be able to go fast. Like you can't slowly slide. It's like rolling or power sliding.
That's right. Yeah, you sort of, when you first crack the throttle on to slide, you normally do that coming out of the corner when you're first learning. So you give yourself enough room so you don't run it into the fence because you haven't got brakes to pull on. So you do that from about halfway. And he slides, so you get the idea. And I had Dave Cheshire in my corner, so I was very lucky because he was a full-time professional at that time. And he said, so now you got to go into the corner and hold it wide open and turn. And I went, of course you do. And there's a fence right there, we're going to do that. And he goes, no, you'll be right. He goes, as soon as you turn it on and you turn in, the thing will turn left. He goes, I guarantee you. I was like, well, he's not going to lie to me. He's doing it every Friday night, isn't he? And I went, it's just like jumping a triple at Supercross. You wait for everyone else to do it, and then if everyone else does you go, got to do it now because he did it. So I was like, okay, I did it, and I was running into the corner flat out, and he was dead right. It turned left, and I thought it wasn't that bad after all. And within, 5 or 6 nights, I was pretty much flat out. And once you do that bit, then that next bit's the hardest bit, and that's doing it consistently,
And with that, you're saying the numbers have dropped off. Like Ty Wolfenden, is he a Perth boy? I know he's from England and that. Is he real important to the local scene and the economics of the local speedway community here?
Oh yeah, look, because Ty is a full-time professional and that's his job. When he comes home, that's his break.
Yep.
So he might ride once or twice a year if the track has got big events on. So he won't go to a club run, put it that way, because he gets paid to do his job.
Yeah,
so you understand he can't go and ride for free because if they hear that he's riding for free, they'll drop his money. So so he has ridden a bit across the last probably 10 years here, did 1 or 2 shows. He has been running his own dad's race, so between him and Marshall McDermott. To be fair, Marshall's probably doing most of the work, but he's been doing those events. And, of course he's important. Ty was born in Scunthorpe in the UK. It's actually, I lived with his mum and dad the first year I went.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how I've known him since he was a baby. I technically have actually wiped his ass.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've known him all his life. And my really good mate, Steve Johnson, he lived with them as well. So, we all know him really, really well. And I ring him probably once a month just to see how he's going, and he'll ring me, and we've been doing a bit of work on some aerodynamics for his bike at the moment for next year. And he's very important to our. I would like to see him ride here more for sure, because that would be good for us
kids. Bring it up.
I think the main problem of why he hasn't done a lot of it, he rode here 2 years ago. He didn't ride here last year because they didn't hold that event.
Mm-hmm.
So from memory, if you haven't got the guys here that he needs really good blokes. So
Yeah, because he's a freak.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, well, when they run the Rob Wolfenden race, they normally get 5 or 6 or 7 Eastern Staters to come. They'll normally get an English rider to come out. I think last time they ran it, Sam Hagen was out from the UK, and I helped Justin Sedgman from Victoria. He ended up winning it actually, but he beat Ty in the final. So,
Yeah, right.
So they'll have their nights, obviously. But when having Ty there, he's kind of like an enigma. I mean,
Yeah, he's a cool dude too.
Yeah, he's a really cool dude, and he's a really good human too.
Yep.
I think first and foremost, he's a good human. His wife is fantastic, and he's got 2 lovely kids, and like obviously I'm best friends with his mum and Rob before he passed away, which was his dad. So
with these bikes, then, like, can you buy, like, you know, almost like a factory motocross bike? Like, you can't get that. Is that the same for these solo bikes, or can you buy what those boys have?
Yeah, money buys anything.
Yeah,
Bike Speedway. Yeah, they've all got their own tuners. So there's probably 15 tuners all across Europe and in the UK. Like Peter Johns is a tuner in the UK. I know Ty was running Johnsy's motors for a while. Guys like Lee Adams ran them for a long time. And then you've got all these tuners based in Europe that are really good, like Brian Carger, and I could sit here for 10 minutes talking about them, but and they all have their things where one year they're really good, so the guys will all go and buy motors from him. We're like sheep in Speedway, aren't we?
Yeah.
And then if Johnsy's got a good motor, they'll go and buy Johnsy's motors, you know. So, but you can actually put a bike together of Grand Prix spec. You can build 3 or 4 of them if you want. You just got to go to those people and buy those parts.
And what sort of sheets are we looking at? What dollars to build one, do you reckon?
Oh, I was only talking to Ty about this when he was home at Christmas last year before he got hurt. So now, you buy bikes for, say, $12,000, $14,000. Now the engine tuning is about $10,000 just to tune them.
Not the engine tuning.
Just tuning it.
Far.
So that blew me away. I was like, "You're what?" And he goes, "Yeah, and you got to have 4 of them. Can't just have 1 or 2 because you got to have 1 for a slick track, 1 for a grippy track."
Different engines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
just how the power comes on.
Yeah, how it delivers. The good thing about the Speedway bikes is their ignition's on the side.
Yep.
So you can undo the plate and say when the track's grippy, you'd run it, say, 31, 32 degrees. Or when it slicks off, you can drop it back to like 26, 24 degrees to slow it down. So when you're doing your league racing, that's what you would do because you're using the same motor but different tracks, right? But when you're at Grand Prix spec, you got to have really good equipment.
And would they, with that, does he have a different bike with different engines in it, or do they swap the engine out?
All the bikes are pretty similar.
Okay.
They're all custom to him. Like I know with, So they have different length rear ends, different steering angles.
Yep.
Different handlebar plates, different style bars. Some guys run short throttle. Some guys use a longer throttle to pull around. Depend, like just all personal stuff. Different size seats in thickness, depending on it. Because if you're taller, you would have a thicker seat with a taller seat bracket. If you're shorter, obviously, like my mate Chesh, you'd have a thinner seat, lower seat bracket.
Yeah,
Bars would be shorter to bring it in, so you're not reaching for anything. Yeah.
So about 25 grand then would get you
like the Grand Prix spec bike would be somewhere around that. I might be 3,000 or 4,000 off, but it's somewhere around that. I know what Ty told me, and I was like, wow, that's really gone up. So when I was riding, so I finished my last year in 2002 in Sheffield, you could buy a bike for $8,000 and your tuning bill was about $2,000. So it's gone up a lot. Too much.
And is it a custom engine? Like, is it out of something else, or is it just for that?
Oh no, it's just for the Speedway bike motors they're made for Speedway bikes. Yeah, you couldn't put anything else in them. I know with the junior bikes they were running like a Honda postie bike motor in them.
Yep, like a CT110.
Yeah, and I think even now that's starting to change. They've put built in. Well, Tony Rickardson, who was the 7-time, he's the go to Speedway. He's just been working on electric Speedway bikes for the junior kids.
Stark.
Yeah, there you go. Get Chris on it.
All right. Well, yeah. So you started off though, like in your motorsport stuff. It was motocross first. Is that right?
Yeah, motocross. So I started BMX. Was doing that from the age of 5.
Yep.
And then I actually raced the first BMX race in WA.
Is that Johnny Fenton involved?
John Fenton was the guy that bought it.
He's got. He must have more than 10 fingers, mate, because those fingers are in a lot of pies.
Yeah. So John was the first one. John's a good mate of my dad's, right? Yep. So that's how my dad got commentating.
Okay.
Because John was doing the commentating as well, was up running the track, and one night he just couldn't do it. So he said, "Chuck, get up in there. You got to commentate." And Dad was like, "Yeah, I'll give it a go." And then that was 1980 something, 78, and yeah, the rest is history. Commentated for years and years and years. So funny. But went from BMX. I was still doing BMX because Mum and Dad actually ended up buying their own BMX track in Cuda.
Okay.
So I was doing BMX at Kenwick and Cuda, and them days there was like probably 10, 12 BMX tracks, and you could race all week.
Yeah, different rides.
So I did that, and then Dad bought a Honda XR80 off John Fenton, which was his son Tony's for one of his bikes.
Okay.
And that's it. I actually sat in my dad's shed for 2 years because every time he fired it up, their XR80s were a really loud bike, and it scared the crap out of me. So I was like, no, I don't want to do that, Dad. What he should have done is bought me a 60 Yamaha or something like that, but he wasn't smart enough. But anyway, I ended up, I think it was about just before I was 10 or maybe 10. I said, all right, I want to have a go. And the bike was too big for me anyway. Yeah. So he grabbed one of his mates and we went down the end of the road. I lived in Forestfield at the time, and he put me on the bike, kickstarted it, and said, just let the clutch go, pushed me off, and my dad's mate Max Harding was about 100 metres away, and he caught me, turned me around and sent me back. And they worked out pretty quickly in that day. That bike was too big for me. Yep. So he went and got me a smaller bike. And then we started riding at Orange Grove, which was the WA Junior Motocross Club.
Yeah.
It's a funny story. So Dad goes to the first club meeting after buying me a bike. I've only ridden there once. And he goes with a mate of mine from school, Darren White. He goes with his dad, Bill. He goes, come on, you need to come to the club meeting, blah, blah, blah. Dad's never, he's been around motocross and he commentated supercrosses and stuff before this, but nothing to do with me. I remember him when he walked back in through the door, I was up for some reason, and I remember Mum go, how was the club meeting? And he goes, yep, you're looking at the new president. So they voted him as the president. And then the very next week, the Shire basically come and said, look, we've got to close the track. It's still to this day, the tip is still there. The tip's closed and there's still nothing on that land. That annoys the crap out of me. But anyway.
Well, they shut down a club.
They shut the club down. So Dad, never been president of anything, has to organise a new track. So him and a good team, about 3 or 4 blokes from the WA club, Mr. Rowe and a couple other guys, Eric Walters, and they all went up.
Yeah, Eric Walter. That's a race, hey? Eric Walter.
Yeah,
Cup,
Eric Walter race. Yeah. He was an older guy that had he used to look after kids that were from broken families.
Okay.
And he had a couple of 80cc Yamahas, and he used to he had this kid called Spike on one, and he put him on the bike for a year. And I think, as it turned out, I think Spike stayed on that bike for a couple of years. But yeah, he was really heavily involved with the club. And Dad, I live in Chidlow now, which I never thought was going to happen. But basically, they got a plot of land that was allocated to him up there, and Dad knew a guy had I think it was a D9 Cat, and they got it organised to get it up there, and he had a map, and they just walked and got the guy with the D9, said, just follow me. And they cut the track out, and that's how it started.
And that's the track now?
And that's the track now, mate.
Did you get good at the motocross?
Yeah, mate, yeah.
Yep.
I was top 5 most of my racing career, yeah. Basically did it from when I was 10 through till I was 19.
Mm-hmm.
Was pretty much full-time for the last couple of years. Peter Wallace, that owned Macklin Kawasaki, looked after me and another guy, Glenn Fern, and Jason Marshall, who were all the top guys from probably my side of thing on the hard pack. Oh, actually, Jason was a very good sand rider, probably more so than than a hardback rider.
Mhm.
But we had a really good deal with Kawasaki. That they were back in the days when the race shops would actually give you bikes. So we were sponsored by Kawasaki WA, and they give you like I had 2 125s, 2 250s,
Yeah, right.
and that was normal. Like now they don't even get bikes.
No.
So
Cheaper bikes.
yeah,
Still not that cheap.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so yeah, raced motocross till I was 19, and then I struggled with a disease called Sherman's disease, which is a disease in your spine where it's soft.
Okay.
So pretty much all my racing career, I was going to physio on Monday, physio on Friday, and they were just keeping an eye on my spine being okay. So you grow out of it. So by about 18, 19, I was pretty good, but I just got sick of to be honest, the injury factor in motocross, and I was doing supercross too.
Yep.
Is very high.
Mm.
So I got sick of going to physio, to be honest, in the end. So I said to Dad, much to his disgust, because we were running third in the state championship that year. I said, this is my last year, Dad. And he's like, what? You can't give up now. You're getting everything for free. And I was like, well, I don't want to do it anymore. I just don't have the drive anymore, because that's all I'd been doing.
Yeah.
Dad picked me up from school from the age of 9, 10, take me to track Monday, Wednesday, Friday, have Saturday off, go to the track Sunday. That was repeat for years and years and years, and I just got sick of it. So I don't regret it. It's made me who I am now. I think what it does is it gives you routine for starters, and there's you have to be very fit for motocross. You have to be very dedicated as well. So I've kind of found anything I've taken on since then, it's steered me in the right direction. Your balance is really good. I think that's why I've adapted to so many different forms of Speedway, because my balance was really good with motocross. So, a lot of gate starts, so it was always good to start. So I don't really, motocross is still my favourite thing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's still now. Like, I like watching that over Speedway. I love the supercross. I love the motocross. What Hunter and Jet Lawrence are doing at the moment. It's just amazing, mate. And I know what it takes. So I know how much hard work and how much of a grind it is. But when you get the results, man, it's like biggest high ever.
It's phenomenal what those boys are doing, and particularly Jet. Like Hunter's a freak as well. Like Hunter would be one as good as it gets.
I think so. Yeah.
Without Jet, like
I know. Yeah. You take Jet out.
Yeah.
Hunter wins the championship this year. Like, he's just extraordinary. And I guessed that wrong, because I actually, after the designations all those years, when he did really well, I thought, Hunter's going to be the one out of the two that's going to do really well. He was racing with
Zach Osborne,
That's one. Right, yeah. And I thought, he's going to be the gun. He's going to be the next Chad Reed. And my God, when the younger brother comes through, and history will say he's going to be one of the best.
I remember watching that just on the motocross stuff. They came when I was living in Bunbury, that Australian junior title was there.
Mm-hmm.
And Hunter's fastest lap time was 3 seconds faster than Dean Porter's lap time, and the state round was like 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
And Hunter's fastest lap time ever was 3 seconds faster than Dean's, and Dean won. I just remember going, he's on a 250F, Dean's on a 450. Like, and Dean moves.
Yeah, this is a good rider. He rode in the motocross team I had.
Yeah, that's what was my next question. So you went into a motocross team. How did that come about?
That was kind of all by fate, I think. So where was I? I finished racing bikes.
Mm-hmm.
Jumped on. I was deciding what I wanted to do, because I'd like to race the Speedway bikes for so long. Anyway, I ended up riding my brother-in-law's road racing bike at Wanneroo. Give that a go. Loved it. It was good fun. But I thought, no, I just don't want to go through my injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a sprint car.
Okay, straight away.
360, yep, bought a sprint car. Bought one off Carl Williamson.
Yep.
Callum's old man. I was in bits, put it all together, raced it a couple of times. I'll race it a couple of seasons, had great fun. And then I was like, I need a break from that now. So Nashi'd found someone to buy the car. So he'd get the guy come in, bought everything. And I was like, what am I going to do now? And I was already still doing the bike title with Simon Stead and Steve Johnson. So every year we just load up we had a Winnebago, load that up, trailer on the back, go and do the Australian title. So it's normally about 4 or 5 rounds over east. So we Mildura, Gilman, Sydney Showgrounds. Where else do we go? Newcastle. And then I got a call from Ashley. I was at a party, and Dean Porter was there, and Steve, this guy's name was. I can't remember his second name, but anyway, Steve was running a motorbike shop out of Belmont, and he had Lewis Calvin riding for him, who was also another really good motocross rider. Yeah. And Dean was telling me all about his program, and he was racing Honda, KTM at the time, and he wanted to go back to Honda, and I was kind of flirting with the idea of doing something apart from the Speedway bike, like the motocross side of things. So I thought, I said, I still had the Speedway truck, which was basically a race truck with room in the middle of it for the Speedway riders, and it fitted all the Speedway bikes, but the motocross bikes fit in there as well. Yep. And it had tailgate and everything on it. So I said to Dean, I said, if Steve wants to ever use the truck, because it doesn't do anything in the winter, I said he can use it if he likes. So that's how it started. So I lent the truck to Steve, and then Steve said, you interested in getting involved? And I was like, maybe. What do you got? He goes, well, I can't do what I'm doing with Dean next year. So I ended up pretty sure at what do you call it? A gentleman's night.
Okay.
That's how it happened. And Dean, I was talking to Dean, I thought, this kid's just a fantastic kid. He was just a real cool kid, and I really liked him straight away. And I was like, I want to do something with this kid. So I basically on the Monday, I said, look, I want to try and put something together for you. So I just jumped on the phone and rang the guys from Honda. I had a couple of mates. I've got a lot of friends in the motorcycle industry, obviously, that Mick O'Hare and all these guys that most people know in WA. And so I just picked up the phone. And the only guy that didn't know were the guys from Honda. But I had a lead. So I just rang the guy and I said, look, I'm thinking about putting a motocross team together. Would you guys be interested? And he goes, what are you going to do? I said, we're going to do the Nationals. And I said, this is our program. Brian Chalmers did up a really good proposal for us. Took it into him, and he was like, I love that idea. And I said, he goes, how many bikes you know? And I said, we need five 450s, because this guy, Dean's just going to kill most
Eats
them.
And he's in the sand.
Yeah, he's so bad on bikes, which I didn't know at the time, but I've been told. So I said, no, we're going to have a few bikes. Yeah. And they were like, no worries. And I literally walked out of there and just went, that guy didn't know me from a bar of soap, and he trusted in me just because we had a very good sell. I took the truck and everything there. Yeah. And he goes, well, clearly you've been doing this for a while, you know what you're doing. So, we want to get involved. And, the rest is history. We won the National at Wanneroo. Yeah,
that's that year. And he brained him,
mate. It was just one of those days. He rolls out.
Was like Jay Marmont type era too, hey?
Yeah,
and he
blitzed him. When Craig Anderson was at the top of his game.
Cody Mackey.
Shane Boyd.
Yeah,
right? So Boydie was the king of the sand that day. So Diz goes out and he laps everyone up to 5th place on an absolute stock. Yeah. Pretty much 450 with suspension that was done from a guy in Victoria, Darren. And we had the guy that was managing the Lawrence boys. Yeah. He was working for Ride Engineering here. So he rang up and goes, I want to be a part of it. So Lucas Myrtle.
Yeah, Steen and him are mates, so.
Yeah, so he was mate. Lucas is from Kalgoorlie, right? Mm-hmm. So he goes, I'll get you all these parts. So we started making phone calls. And I rang my mate who was managing Bellray, Sean Phillips, which is now the main guy with Mobile. And we grew up in the same street, right? So we've known each other since we were 5 years old. And every time I ring him, he's like, what do you need? So I said, look, we put this motocross team together. This is what we need. And he turned out to be one of the main sponsors. Ant Ewers from Berry Sweet. Yep. He jumped on board.
He's still on, eh? He does a heap, that Berry Sweet.
Yeah, he's great. So he came on board, and mate, all of a sudden, with motorcycles, right? I talk about people now with sponsorship with in Sprintcar racing and Midgets and stuff. That was in 2008, and we had $200,000 worth of sponsorship. Mm. So we actually made money that year. Not that I ever seen any of it, because it just poured straight into the next year. And out of that, we got the factory Husqvarna thing.
Yep.
which turned out to be a disaster because the bikes were terrible back then.
Dean kept blowing them up, eh?
Dean would just cook him, mate. Funny enough, his practice bike was the only one that survived.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
The gearboxes, was it? Or everything?
Yeah, gearbox, clutches.
Yeah.
And Dean was a
Like,
when we were on the Honda, right? Dean was the Honda could handle Dean just. But when we were on the Hondas, like we had mate of mine, Rowie, was the mechanic at the time for Dean, and he would literally put a clutch in that bike before he went out for his heat race, and then come back in, put another clutch in it. Like he'd just fry him. It's like he was pretending it was a two-stroke. And I rode vets that year, right? And I think I finished third in the state championship in it, and I missed a round.
who beat you?
I think it was Wayne Atkins, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember saying, "Hey, Dean, that's how you do it. That's my bike, same clutch in it." And he goes, "You can't be on it hard enough."
Yeah. He does go hard. He still goes hard.
I'd see on the weekend he's
down in Bunbury.
Yeah, down in Bunbury. Well, he's on. He's raced MX2, right, or something.
I think he
or,
races
or
everything.
MX1. I think he did the vets and the 450s, and he finished third, and he fell off twice. And I think Dean would have to be.
I talk about that with
37, 38 now.
Yeah, in that vicinity.
In that vicinity.
But I remember like Lewis Calvin and that coming up, and like I know that Sonny Pelicano one. But yeah, there's no like young freaks anymore. But it used to be like the 18, 19-year-olds were the ones.
Oh yeah.
Like, and there was no 36-year-olds beating Dean when he was 8. I know he had a battle with James Craig once at Manji.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And he split his lip, got back up. I was there that day. Must have been a club run or interclub. Or
James Craig was a freak.
he still rides, no gloves.
Is he really?
Yep.
Does he still ride now?
Yeah, he races around Manji, no gloves still.
He'd be in his 50s.
Yep. Oh yeah,
Wow.
easily.
He's my age.
But and then the sprint cars. When did you sort of come back to Speedway?
So basically the bike thing lasted a couple of years, or the running the bike team. When we won the Australian title with Chris Holder, we went into that year. So Chris had just started getting good on a Speedway bike, Australian level, and I signed him after the last round because he made the A final against Jason Crump, Lee Adams, and Jono, right? And that was a big thing.
Yep.
So I signed him to race the next year. If I'd known that kid out of Appin in New South Wales was going to win all 5 rounds, if you had to ask me that's what he was going to do the first year racing for us, I would have said no way. So we won all 5 rounds, and I was like, well, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to win the Australian title. So we sold that, and that's when I went back to racing cars. So I bought a wingless. Daniel Salters, actually.
Yep.
Bought his car. And I just thought, I'll just start here and see where it ends up. And I raced the first year, probably did like half a season. I think it was a bit late getting the car. Had a lot of fun. And Lee's old man, Des, was giving me a bit of a hand when basically with the motors and stuff like that. And then I thought, I'll do it. I'll treat it seriously and I'll give it 1 year. And if I love it, I'll keep doing it or I'll just bail. And I got Ray Geneve to build me a wingless, right? And Ray was just so meticulous, right? And I've rode motocross with his sons, David and Rick. Yep. So we've known each other all our life. Ray's, I feel like I might have been a third son there at one stage. It was just, we just got along really well. So I organised to get Rick's car, transport, on a transport business. So I organised his car to go to the Australian title somewhere. And he said, you do that and I'll do your motor for your wingless. So I reckon that thing would still be going now. It was the motor was just unreal. It was just, probably wasn't the fastest thing out there. It would be pretty close though, but it just was so reliable. Bulletproof, yeah. Never, all year I just put injectors in it, put tyres on it and fuel, that was it. Didn't take the pistons out and polish them or anything.
That might be where you're going wrong. That's
probably where I went wrong, yeah. But that year I won the track championship at the Plex. I think I finished 4th or 5th at the title in Geraldton. That's one Lee won. I think John O'Connell got 3rd. I was listening to that the other night.
Yep.
And then the last event at the Motorplex, I ran out of tyres, and I went up and seen Marshall McDermott, and Marshall was actually the guy I was dicing with all night, and he's a good mate of mine from bikes.
Yep.
And I said, Marsh, have you got any tyres I can buy for you? And he goes, oh, you can have the one I just took off. And I started like position 6, and I actually beat him last corner, last lap with that tyre. Still a joke to this day, right? So I was like, oh, that was great fun. And that night, Wayne Cover came over and see me, and he said, would you like to have a go on the speaker? And that was another way because he seen me going good in the car. And he'd actually been a sponsor of mine when I was riding bikes at Claremont. So he just came over and said, look, would you be interested in having a drive in the car? And I was like, yeah, okay. So I had to go on it the next week, and I finished 3rd on the first night, which, you know, once again, I thought, oh, it'll probably only be 1 or 2 nights if I get the opportunity, so I'll make the most of it. Got 3rd, and I went to the 2nd show, and I finished 2nd. I think when I went to the 3rd show, I went to Collie. I was actually winning, and I was spun out all by myself in front of the whole pack, and I think Scott Glazebrook won that one. And then we ended up doing a deal with him to race the full season next year. So, yeah, that's when we had the Australian title here. I think Neville Lance won.
Yeah.
In 2013. So, yeah, it was kind of, that was the first time car-wise, if I'm being honest, I went, now I feel home.
Okay.
Because a Speedway bike is very short wheelbase and big horsepower motor in between, like a 60, 67, 68 horsepower, right? Only weigh 78 kilos. So there's a lot of horsepower for a bike with no brakes and blah, blah, blah. So that was the first time when I jumped in the Midgets, big horsepower motor, short wheelbase, very erratic, and I felt really at home in that thing. I was like, God, this feels like a Speedway bike just with 4 wheels. And I loved it straight away. I was like, this is what I want to do. This is actually what I really want to do. So, and obviously I raced them for, 10, 12 years. And I did have a dabble with Sprintcars again for the 410 stuff with the Wormels in their team for a season and a half, I think it was. Loved it. Good experience. It was good, you know, to do some more laps. But the Speedcars where my heart lied. That's kind of what I was good at car-wise. So, and off the back of that, we did the Speedcar Pro Series. Nearly won that. Got 2nd in that. And that got me an invite to race in New Zealand the following year, which, you know, there was stuff you just want to tick off.
Yeah.
And I started going pretty well on the midget, so I had car owners ringing me all of a sudden and stuff that I wasn't kind of used to, but it was really good to get those opportunities. I was racing at Parramatta a bit for different car owners, racing Queensland for Brett Thomas probably 4 or 5 times in one of his cars. And yeah, got to do some pretty cool stuff, you know, and I ended up being able to do the Chili Bowl for Brett Thomas as well. So that was kind of a big tick.
Is that?
I'm still the only West Australian to actually race that. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
that's what I want to talk about. Is that? Well, first of all, I'll go back to Chili Bowl. I'm keen to get your thoughts. Can you have fun in a sprint car in a 410? Like, can it be fun? Whereas I feel like you can have fun. And my own experience would be a wingless. Like it's not. They're not slow, but like it's slow enough that you can actually like think and have fun.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then the speed cars, I feel like I see some of those races and I feel like they must be having fun in there. But then the sprint cars, just that next level. Are they too fast to be able to have fun during the race? And can you have fun during a race in a midget?
In my opinion, that's just mine. I spoke to Brooke Tatnell about this at a meeting I did at Bunbury a few years ago when Brooke was racing for the Crickies. Mm-hmm. That's how long ago it was. And he raced my midget at Parramatta.
Okay.
So I left my midget there and they had that night, you know, the night where they do like midget late model and sprint car and like Robbie Farr and Brooke Tatnell.
Yeah, now you say that. Yeah.
There was that thing. So I said to Brooke, race mine, go for it. And we were at Bunbury the following week and I come home to race a sprint car show. Yeah. And then he ended up coming over and we were talking about it. And I said, what do you think of the midget? And he said, the midget's really hard to race fast.
Okay.
And I said, no, I disagree. Because I think a sprint car, the only fun, there's obviously fun driving it, don't get me wrong, but you don't get a chance to sit down and enjoy it. And if you are, maybe your name's Cole Larson, I don't know. But from my side of things, like I think I was okay at the sprint car. I wasn't great at the sprint car, but I never had 5 years in a sprint car.
Yeah.
I did a season here, a season there. 360, I felt pretty comfortable straight away, but the 410 is such an animal. And, to see like what Callum and Dane do week in, week out, and, it's probably top 5 where they sit that far off the fence. I don't see how that would be sitting back enjoying yourself.
Yeah, how good's this?
Because you're that far away from nosediving into the fence, aren't you?
Yeah,
so
it's just so intense, I think.
Yeah, but even with the speed car, when it's really fast, you're really busy in the wheel and with your feet and your hands, but you still, because the track's so big, you get time to enjoy it. And I've had some really good races there where I've been dicing with Dane or even Caden when he first started coming through. Other guys like Clarkey and all that would come over and race us against us, or if Jonesy brought an American in, like you'd have some great races, but you actually got to enjoy it too. That's what I loved about midget racing. But if you put midget on a small track, like at the Chili Bowl,
yeah. All right, well, perfect segue. Get into it.
It's a lot harder.
It's
so busy, mate.
Could the Chili Bowl even be fun then? Like with
it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's like having. It'd be like having the whole thing at one corner of the bike track of the Motorplex. It's so small, man. I've raced bike tracks living in Europe.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
A lot bigger. So when I remember when I rolled up there, I was like, it's fucking small.
Yeah.
And I got in and I thought, well, I should be all right at this because I'm a bike rider. I like the small stuff. But when you're actually driving it, it's really strange, particularly on a fence. It feels big.
Yeah, okay.
It does actually feel like it's more open. But once you put traffic on there, oh my God, mate, it's just, I remember in my qualifier, so the way your qualifier is, if you're off the back and you pass a lot of cars, that actually helps you. Yep. So if you're off the front, it's not so much helps you. So I got off the back, right? So I jump in this car. I've never driven a Boss with a Mopar in it, so that was probably behind an 8-ball straight away. And I got in the car, and the guys had not checked the tyre pressures in the things. They had 10 pound right rear, 10 pound left rear, 10 on the fronts. I checked it after the heat race. I was like, why is this car so terrible? I won't get off the corner. Worked it out pretty much. And I just remember going, right, so I just got to pass 4 cars. If I pass 4 cars, that'll put me into the prelim. Then I just got to finish in the top 6 in that. I'm thinking I'm good. I'll be good. I'll get through. That's in my not knowing the.
Why are you going over there if that's not what you think?
Yeah, that's right. So you I know I was probably thinking way out of my capability, but I was like, no, I'm here to do a job, and I'm not paying for it, so I got to do the best I can. Anyway, so I get in it and I race that thing so hard, and literally with 1 lap to go, I'm like, I'm just going to split these 2 guys going into one. The guy on the inside like hikes off that has like a berm.
Yeah, that
hikes it off. I reckon the guy on the outside was watching him because he was like sideways this way and this guy's this way and I'm coming through the middle. So I end up clipping the guys with my right rear, the guy's left front, and spun me around. And so I saw nothing.
Yeah.
So I've gone from 100% going into the qualifier properly to got to go through the alphabet soup.
Yeah.
So you do. I think I started like the H main because it goes back that far. It's ridiculous how far it goes back. So I win the H and keep going forward. I won 3 and then miss the cut for the next one. And then you're done. So you go, all right, that's the other thing. I wouldn't advise it if you're going there for a quality amount of racing time.
Yeah.
But every night you're there, if you're a Speedcar fan, you're in heaven.
Yeah.
Mate,
that noise.
You are absolutely, I remember I was racing for the Boss team. So there was like Clausen Marshall next to us.
Yep.
And the Boss team, Sammy Swindell and his son. And then on the other side's obviously the Keith Coons row. And then all these other really good midget teams. I was just like, how cool is this? Every day I walk in here, I get to walk past Rick O'Brew, Paul Larson.
Yeah.
All these guys they're way younger than me, but I'm just looking up to them and going, you guys are just amazing in a race car. I appreciate that because they can race so many different things and be so good at it.
And what about, did you watch like the A main and that?
Yeah, you watch.
Like, tell me, who won that year?
2017 it was. I actually don't know.
Rico.
I kind of feel like it might have been Rico.
I can quickly look it up.
Yeah,
But
I think,
what's it like to watch that A main and roll around?
Oh, it's like 50 laps, and they just do not get off the throttle. They are racing like there's no tomorrow. I remember Justin Grant was pretty much fastest all week.
Yep.
And then on that night, I can't remember who won. It wasn't Larson.
Chris Bell.
Chris Bell. There you go. Yeah, but on the night when it mattered, you just watch the top echelon just step up. And I remember watching them come through, and I thought, where'd they find that speed? Where'd that come from? Where's it been all week? Like, Belly was quick. I think he won his prelim night, but Justin Grant was really fast.
Yeah.
Like, he was killing it. He won the Race of Champions that night. Like, he was good. And he led the feature for 25 of the 50. And then, they say Belly.
And what's the noise like in there? Is it like...
It's deafening.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because they're loud. And
they're
then
really loud. And they're not running exhaust.
Yeah.
Like, there's no mufflers. They're all really loud. The atmosphere in it is like nothing you'll ever feel. It's ridiculous. It's good. It'd rival a Polish Speedway by now. It really would. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But you get this afterwards because you're in fumes for like 5 days. So they call it the chili bowl flu. So on the way home, you get a sore throat.
Yeah, just
from breathing methanol in for a week.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
You do.
Fumes and
there's a thing, yeah.
And tyre and rubber. And
yeah. And it's like outside because it's their winter, right? So it's snowing outside.
Yeah.
Some nights, not all nights, but some nights. I remember we had this when we got there. So it's like myself, one of Brett's mates, my father-in-law at the time, Mark, was with me, and Brett. And only one of his mates, Brett's son-in-law, Des, was with us. And we jump on because we went to the Gold Coast. I raced Brett's car on the Saturday night, and we flew out Sunday night for the Chili Bowl. It was 38 degrees. So we jump on the plane with shorts and T-shirt, get off at the other end in Dallas to get into the rent-a-car, and it's snowing. And I just remember we'd like, well, no, we'll be all right. We won't put anything on. And about halfway to the car, we just like started snap freezing, and we just ran to the car. It was so cold.
And just how did the Chili Bowl come about? Like, obviously, the result wasn't what you wanted, but like, would you do it again, or would you look at a different event?
A younger me would do it again.
Yep.
Not now, but if I was going to go and do a race, it'd probably what Tom and Jake just did.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I know Nathan Smay's a good mate of mine. He's done that a few times, and I'm not sure whether Nathan's done the Chili Bowl, but that would be the one to do. You just get more racing. The Chili Bowl is great to tick off a bucket list thing for sure, but you get like a practice, maybe 1 or 2.
With how many cars on there though when you practice?
8 to 10. So
Yeah.
you get a feel for it, but you don't really get to put your foot in it.
Yeah.
So then when you get to the heat race, because you got one heat race.
It's so fucked that.
Like you think you fly from Perth, it's 36 hours. You get 8 laps practice, and then you're in a car you've never been before, and you've got to. Look, I was doing a lot of racing at that time.
Yeah.
But this car we got into was like nothing I'd ever driven. And I thought Speedcars were all pretty similar, but this thing wasn't. And I remember when I got in, I was like, oh, we're going to struggle. But as you do, you get yourself up and you go, right, just go as hard as you can. And I just remember going, so that's it. Now we've got to try and get through somewhere close to the prelim, which you don't get close. All you do is from after your heat race, you go into there might be, say, an A through to E.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to try and get through as far as you can there, because that determines on Saturday night which one you start at. You might start out of the Z main if you've done poorly.
I remember it starts at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and then the feature, the A goes, and it's racing the whole way through, and the A goes at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, all day, mate. It's like all day. I reckon one of the funniest things is the flip count. Yeah. It's like you see the crowd, you'll be in the pits and you see the crowd go, hey! And then it'll be like, you'll hear the crowd go like, 87. And that's how many guys have flipped over.
It's a wild event. So what would be is there a race that you wish you did do, like going back, and not that your career's over or anything like that? Is there anything still left on the bucket list to do?
Geez, mate, I've been pretty lucky, hey.
Yeah, it's
I've raced all the Australian bike finals everywhere. I did 7 or 8 Aussie finals. You know, I say I wasn't. Parramatta was actually one of my favourite tracks.
Yep.
That was just a really good technical speedway. Like you could run top, middle, bottom there. I enjoyed racing there. I did an Australian title there after I had a massive crash here, and I did it in Brett's car. I wish I could relive that.
Okay.
And do it in my own car because I was in good form at that time. So there's a bit of a, we would have originally planned to do that, but I tore a car to pieces here. I destroyed it and I ended up hospital. I had bad concussion and stuff. So, yeah, that's one I wish I could relive. But as for, I don't have really any that I would think,
you've ticked them.
I wish I did that. I mean, how many people have raced what I've raced?
No, not many.
I don't think it's too many down the
Chili
skids
Bowl.
now that I've done the Chili Bowl. I've raced in America. I've raced in New Zealand. I've raced all over Europe on the bike.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky there. So I don't have really any regrets there.
I've got a few in my head. I'll just quickly get them out. With all the racing then, who's like, not like the overall best, like champion, who's like the biggest freak that you've raced against in Speedway, like the X Factor, could do anything on any night? Who's the best?
In a car?
Either.
With Brian Clausen.
Yep.
I raced against him in New Zealand.
Okay.
What he could do with the race car was Larson-like.
Yep.
So definitely him. Bike-wise, I really, because I did race him once, is like Jeff's 6 years older than me, Jeff Leask.
Jeff Leask, yep.
Yeah, he was a freak.
On a bike.
He was a freak for all the reasons you wouldn't think. A really good person, first and foremostly, and he's a really good friend of mine, so I'm grateful for that. But he's also a guy I looked up to, and I would go riding with. When he come back from Europe or America, he'd ring Dad and go, Hazley, want to go for a ride? So just like a riding buddy. So that was, for me, that was like, he's my idol.
Yeah.
So that was...
Wouldn't have built too much confidence though.
Yeah. Yeah, also soul destroying.
Yeah.
But he would ride a motocrosser and it wouldn't look fast.
Yep.
He was just that smooth. He made light work of what was really hard work. And I always appreciated that.
Yeah.
When I see like Jet Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
When you see someone do their job or their craft and they make it like work, that to me, that's a champion. That's someone who really is just a bit different from the rest. So, yeah, so it'd be Jeff on bikes and probably Brian Clausen, because like I say, I actually raced both of those guys. So, Jeff was when I raced Jeff, it was a management.
Yeah. So
it was probably at the end of his career. So, but yeah, like I say, those guys particularly were awesome. I did race against Brew and stuff at the Chili Bowl, but I wasn't in the same street as those guys. They were just
fair enough.
Next level fast, mate. Yeah.
And then what about then with every in the Speedway stuff? You've done so much. You've raced a lot. What's the best car you've been in?
Best car.
Like even a night where it's just like, this is the best setup, the best car. What's the one night where you thought this car is the shit?
Yeah, it would actually be our own car. We had a Spike S14, I believe it was. S14 with an S-Slinger in it. I think we won 4 or 5 races in that car. That thing was, particularly the night I won the John Day race, that was when it first kicked off.
Yep.
And we painted the car up like my dad's car from the 70s, so it was pretty much just straight John Day with the 52 on it and a silver stripe on the back. That car was pretty cool. And I pantsed everyone that night. So that was pretty cool. Like that thing was just a rocket ship, and it didn't matter what you did in it, even if we were a little bit off with the setup, I could drive around it. It was just one of those cars. But I've only ever really raced Spikes. They're kind of like the maximum of Sprintcars. Yep. Yeah. That car was pretty good. The one Brett's car is probably the fastest car I've ever drove. That was a Spike with a Nestlinger in it, but KRE done that motor.
Okay.
Whatever they did different to it, I've got a photo somewhere. I should have brought it in. I got quick time there at the Queensland title, and I would stand on the gas and the car. You see the under tray. I'm on the right rear going across the finish line.
Yeah, right.
Like it just was a rocket ship, this thing. Brett had a thing about he didn't care if you win a race, he just wanted you to be quick time. And I said, what's your secret? And he goes, just hold it flat. So I did. And we got quick time at the title night there. And he come back in, he goes, you can park it up if you want. So I said, no, I'm going to race it. And he goes, well, you don't have to. You got quick time, mate. Put it away.
Mate. But how much has the midgets changed then in the last 10 years? Because, like, obviously financially and all that's gone up, but has, like, the quality of cars, like, in terms of not, like, shininess or anything, are they better cars now than they were 10 years ago, 12 years ago?
All right, so this is really easy to explain. So my first car was a Darren Hagen car out of America, like literally come from Speedway, still with exactly how he drove it. And we put an S-Slinger in it from Brendan Fox, which Mark Brand was driving for at the time.
Yep.
Caden's dad.
Yep. Just quickly, he messaged me the other day, Mark. He listens.
Does he? Yeah.
And he sent me a little clip. Michael Keane was talking about quick timing over Kyle Larson just in hot laps. And he's printed it off. Yeah. And then he sent me this clip. It's so sick. Caden is like 0.2 or 0.3 of a seconds faster than anyone else in his hot laps, and Kyle's in that. At the Chili Bowl.
Doesn't miss much, Brando.
Nah, he's onto it, eh? It's a wicked little clip, that clip. Yeah. Sorry, keep going. Yeah, you got this.
He's a ripper. I forgot what we're talking about now.
The engine you got from Hagen.
Oh, yeah. So that car was 35 grand ready to race. And that was still to this day probably the best car we had.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So that was 35 grand. The car I have in the shed at home is $125,000. Yep. That's the difference. And that's where you're talking from 2013 to 2024. That's the difference. So now a Stanton motor is 80 grand. Yep. Toyota's 100 grand. They've got to keep in mind, they're 4 cylinders.
Yeah.
Where's the price tag come from? A roller to build new now, like brand new, is probably pushing 45 grand. Like the rear ends in our cars now worth like $5,000-$6,000.
A midget rear end's more than a sprint car.
More than a
I
sprint
can't
car.
believe that.
Yeah. They're like, and most of the parts are.
Yeah.
All right. So the chassis are, I think a new Spike's 11 or 12 grand. I'm pretty sure the Triple X is about 8. 8.5. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure it's around there.
Oh, yeah.
For the same sort of thing.
But what about that? The Hagen car versus like your car now, are they the same? Is there 100 grand more better in value?
I don't think so.
You could compete.
Like the I don't think there's more value. Yes, because the car is faster.
Yep.
Right. It's lighter. It's a better package. It rips more. But do I get any more fun out of it? No. Not than the 35 grand car, right? But that 35 grand car, everyone had 35 grand cars.
Yeah.
50 if you were spending a lot.
Yeah.
Back then. So now we're all spending 100 plus. And at best, I think 3 nights a year we run for 5 grand. Well, it costs 3.5 grand to put it on the track.
Yeah.
Without tearing it up. You know, and like I say, last year I was lucky. Last couple of years I've had Cody in the car and he's been really good on it.
Yeah, he has.
You know, so good. Sometimes he didn't want to win. He wanted to finish second just so the car was good. People think that's funny. I think we have the record for seconds now. But, so you look at it and you go, man, it just become ridiculously expensive. I would like personally to see us go to one motor.
Yep.
And I know that will not be popular with everybody, but a couple of years ago, a guy called Ross Keenan out of Queensland put a picture. It was a Facebook thing. I don't know if it was true or it weren't, but it was a crate motor, like a 4-cylinder crate motor for what looked to be for a speed car. And I thought, how good would that be if we could all spend 30 grand, just 30 grand? Oh, you'd put one in every year.
Yeah.
Like that would be more justifiable. And it might be 300 horsepower, say 350 horsepower at the max. Well, ours now, that Stanton's got to be pushing for about 400.
Yeah, right.
Right? So you think about it. So it's my S-Slinger was probably 365, 366 back in the day. So you're literally paying about double for about 7 or 8 horsepower.
Yeah.
But they're all billet, aluminium. You know, they're nice motors now, don't get me wrong. But, you know, freshen one up. This is where Speedcars have become expensive, but when it comes to the freshening up thing, look, I send mine back to Stanton. I think last year was about 14 grand.
Yep.
Right? But then 3 grand in air freight because we fly them there.
Yep.
So under 20 grand, you got a fresh motor. So that's not going to happen with a sprint car, is it?
Nah, 60, 70.
And I think a right rear for a sprint car now is about $600.
620, I reckon.
Yeah, and $380 for a midget tyre. So it's quite a bit different. And 60 litres in fuel as opposed to 200. So, you know, you weigh it up, don't you? But
would it be the same money, you reckon? Like if you were to start to get it, could you get into a sprint car for the same money as a midget, roughly?
Right now you could.
Yeah, it's crazy, eh?
Yeah, you wouldn't have a new one, but you would have, I've seen sprint cars for sale for under 80 grand. Like, there's no way I could let my speed car go for under 80 grand. Like, it owes me 120.
Yeah.
You know, and it's still the latest gear.
Yeah, I guess like Merger Motorsport's got the car they won the Cricket Boys shootout with. It was 75. I don't know whether they've sold it or not, but
yeah, that's a cheap car.
Yeah.
That's a good car too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like 25 grand for the roller and it's like 50 for the engine is effectively how I look at it.
Yeah. Like shock absorbers now and midgets have gone ridiculous. They're so expensive. I think it's like $1,500 a corner now for gas because we got to run gas adjustable. So, you know, you can't just have one set. Got to have 2 sets in case you flip it over. A front end.
And what do you? So you in the shed right now? You got that lovely yellow limited and that midget.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get itchy when you look at it.
No.
Yeah, right.
No, I don't.
I suppose you've done enough.
Yeah, I'm 54, mate.
Yeah,
I've just done enough. I would like to drive it just because I haven't driven a midget since I had that crash. So, yeah, no, I don't. It's funny. It's strange. I get in it. It's at Speedway. Everyone's talking, and I've had like 3 or 4 phone calls in the last probably month saying, "Oh, so are you getting back in a midget?" And I go, "Have you not seen the adverts? It's for
Speedway
sale.
Rumours.
It's for sale." No, we've been told you'll definitely drive again.
Someone told him so.
Well, yeah, I was up saying, "Well, I'm him, and I'm not racing it, mate." I just don't. I've got past that bit. And it was the same when I started racing bikes, mate. It used to make me laugh. I was like 45 and people were still walking up going, "So you're keen to get on?" I'd go and watch the bike Speedway.
Yeah.
"You keen to get back on?" No, mate, that ship sailed when I was 32.
Yeah.
Because if you can't do it at the level that you were doing it at, like I can't do in a midget what I was doing 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Because you get older, right? When I remember the last year, I was 51. I was turning 52 that year, and we were running second in the championship to Caden. You know, so we're having a really good year. It's in top 3 most weeks, but I weren't winning a lot though. You know, I had like a heap of seconds and a heap of thirds, but I weren't winning. I could kind of go east and win, like the odd race, but just couldn't do it here, because I didn't have I suppose that younger ability to have the quick reactions and all that. You know that as you get older, right? And I love that I've been able to have that evolution and keep racing to the age I did. So now if I have a race, I don't say I'm racing. I just say I'm going to have some fun.
Yep.
Because like I raced limited twice last year at the end of the season because I needed to do that for myself.
Yep. Because
the way I finished was not the way I wanted to finish, right? So basically got into I drove it. I've finished like 9th and maybe 6th or something one night. And I was like, that is not my standard.
I remember one of the races you're battling early with Bailey, like right up front, and then you did drift back a little bit.
Yeah, like he's young now. He doesn't care. I know that we've all been there, mate. Yeah. You know,
I don't know if they don't care or they don't know yet.
They probably don't know the consequences, and I know the consequences, right? Because it's like it's easy to say when say when I go to the doctor
Yeah.
and I have an operation. I've had a lot of clean-up operations after my bike career, right? I'm still doing some now. And people, the doctor will go, oh, you've done well. You haven't broken your right leg yet.
Mm.
But I've broken everything else.
Yeah.
And people just go, you what? Okay, I've broken both my shoulders 3 or 4 times. I've had 3 reconstructions on my left shoulder. I've had pins in my legs, my feet, my hands. You know, I didn't crash very often, but when I did.
Yeah, once you get up there,
it was when you're going that fast, your body's the first thing that absorbs it. And that last crash I had when me and Daniel come together, I broke both my kneecaps, broke a bone in my neck. I stretched all the tendons in my neck. I had a really mad concussion out of it. Split my collarbone sideways. That was a new one because I've got plates in both my collarbones.
Yeah, along it.
I was split it long ways, which was a new one. I've never done that before. But that happened because I would probably been doing about 120 kilometres an hour and hit the fence, full bore. So I got hit from this side.
Lifts the front
up. And of course, the G-force, I can get my foot off the throttle, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going in wide open because my foot was already down because that's where you put your foot. It's just before the halfway mark. So you're already back into it. And in I go. And it happened that fast. Like, I pulled my belts, the seats pulled off the chassis, right? I've got the best of everything in my car, best neck brace and everything that you can wear, best helmets you can wear. But that sort of force, if you did that in a car, like I said, at 90 kilometres an hour, you have a head on, you're severing your spine, mate.
Yeah.
It's lights out. So it says something for our race cars and all our protective stuff, but that took me a long time to get over. Probably a good 6 months, I reckon.
Was the concussion the worst?
Yeah, worst I've ever had, and I've had a bit.
But out of all those injuries, is that like the kneecaps?
No, that didn't bother me.
Yeah.
No, I've had broken bones before. Like the broken bones never bothered me. My head did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, geez, this is taking a long time, and I just sold my business at the time, or around that time, so I didn't really have to do anything. I actually remember because the night I had that crash, I'd organised for Ty and Faye and Sue Wolfenden and her partner Jeff to come to my house for a barbecue the next day. I didn't get out of hospital till like 8 o'clock in the morning. I checked myself out because I thought I've got to go home.
You got the barbie.
I wasn't sound mind, obviously. We had the boat and Ty was like, "What are you even doing? Why did you say to do it?" I said, "Well, I want to see you guys." I said, "I've got next 3 months to recover because I don't have to go to work. I sold my business." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So, yeah, it's just when you have a crash like that, that was the one that woke me up because I always thought I was invincible. So it's not – I've had a lot of injuries, a lot of broken bones. I've had a few head knocks. I've had the scans over the last couple of years to make sure I haven't got long-term concussion problems, and I'm actually no idea how, but I haven't.
Yeah, okay.
Which is good because I thought I would 100%. I reckon I've had 10 times at least. But that last one, that rocked my socks. So that wasn't a hard decision for me to go, all right, that's enough. But you have a couple of years off. You know, you're around it all the time.
You forget.
You forget.
Yeah, that's the worst
That's the
thing.
main thing. You forget. You just forget. I jumped in the limited, went to practice, and I was like, oh, God, I've missed this. It was so much fun. And also just running around by myself. Yeah. And I went, I just need to get it out of my system. But by the second night, like I ran up, I'm looking at say you're racing and you have time to look at the screen.
Yeah.
So we had in that last race, there was like so many crashes or spin outs. So you were lining up all the time, I felt like. And I looked up and I was like, the only time I'm going forward is when someone in front of me spins out. And I went, that's not good.
Yeah. Not ideal.
It's not ideal. And I looked and I've gone from like 17th to 5th. And I went, it's probably time.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, if I feel like having a drive, it'll just be a drive. It's not
no pressure.
No pressure. I don't think I'll be able to do it like I have done it for such a long time. I mean, how many people race at that level in their early 50s?
Not many.
That's why I say I don't have any regret. Yeah. I think I've raced everything I wanted to race. The late model wasn't a good story. That was
you raced one?
I raced a late model for one season. It was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any interest. It looks like there's too much going on. It looks very difficult.
They're very,
and it doesn't look fun.
That's it. Look, no, driving the car is fun.
Okay.
Right, I drove Warren Oldfield's car at the end of the year. Best thing, like one of the best things I've ever driven.
Yeah,
I
right.
loved it because his car's really well set up. We bought a car out of Canberra because it came up cheap.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's got 2 motors, it's got this and that. I knew my mate Nathan Smead driven it at Parramatta. I said, what's it like? And he goes, yeah, I ran third in that in the title here. I go, okay. I bought it, sent a truck over there to get it, organised a load for one of my guys. What we're talking about hot shots before. Yep. When you leave Adelaide, go to Canberra and grab his car. So go over there, flew over there, met him, make sure it was what he said. It was everything. But what we didn't know, the whole time we were driving it, there was that engine plate and the engine mount was broken. Because on those late models, where the motors are, everything's sheeted in.
Okay.
So where all the chassis and stuff and where everything mounts, like you couldn't see, it was black as well, which didn't help. So we got the Australian title. I think it was Australian title here. And I was like, this is embarrassing. I couldn't turn it. So I've been seeing Jamie. Jamie's a good mate of mine. So I said, Jamie, you need to help me fix this thing. It won't turn left. He goes, yeah, no, we've all been watching. It's terrible. You're terrible. And I was like, yeah, I know I'm terrible.
I bet you that's how he said it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And he goes, no, we need to fix it. So what I should have done right there and then is said, when I take the car down, you're going to jump in and you're going to drive it. Because he would have sorted it straight away. Because he would have gone, something's broken.
Yep.
So we did the first night of the title, same thing again. After him doing all the shocks, it was terrible. And I was like, this is embarrassing. So I'm like, oh, I can't let anything beat me or defeat me. So we took it back to the workshop. We pulled the motor out of the car. As soon as I pulled the motor out of the car, the engine plate fell in 3 pieces. And then what a bit of chassis fall out the front of the car. And I went, well, that's our problem. So we fixed it. And we went back the next night and the thing turned left.
Yeah, right.
But
too late.
Too late. I'd already lost interest, yeah.
What about with all the racing you've done, what's like the one time you've rolled out and been like, fuck, like this is big? Like, is it the 410s, like rolling out with the Maddington, Australian titles in the midget? Like, what has there been like, this is like the pinnacle, this is like we're up against it, we got to go? Like, what's that event been for you?
Probably, geez, I've had a lot of those moments, which is cool. But bike-wise, would have been riding for the Aussie team in Newport in the UK. That was pretty cool. I had 8 points there out of 12, which I was happy with because I'd never ridden from my country. So that was kind of cool, and there was a big crowd there for that. So, and racing with my mates as well, because like you're all over there, and some of the Aussie guys that you're really talking a lot to. So that was cool. State championship wins are always cool. When you have that belief, I think the title I won at Claremont, my first open title, that was 1996.
Yeah.
Big field there. Like I think Simon Wigg, like from the UK, was racing. He was a world long track champion, and Joe Screen, and there was just. And all our local guys were really fast, like Glenn Doyle. He was like 2 times Australian champion. And I just had one of those nights where I just when I got on my bike that night, I was like, I am not going to lose this. I'm not going to even lose a race. Like I just believed. And we'd had a good lead up to it. I won a lot of events before that. And I knew 100% that there was every chance I could lose that. But I just went in with the mentality that, no, I'm not dropping a race tonight. And I won on a clean sheet. And I broke track record twice. So they're kind of cool because there's a big crowd. You know, we were very blessed there because there's always a big crowd. That was cool.
What was the crowd there for at Claremont? Was it bikes, sprint cars, or the midgets, the speed cars? What? Because I've got told it's like bikes and midgets, and then the sprint cars were sort of.
Yeah, because sprint car racing wasn't that big then.
Yep.
Well, it was getting bigger.
Yep.
So like probably the Baron the area, Ryan Cricky was winning titles, was starting to get bigger. And there was only like 10 or 12 cars back in that day. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a lot of actual race cars. We probably thought there was because that's what we had, right? But there was a lot of bikes. Sidecars were big too. Speed cars were massive. Like say 2 or 3 divisions of them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we had the cream of the cream. Like in Australia, like the WA midget guys were the best. So that was always cool. But the crowds were massive, and it just had that because of the history.
Yeah, it
has so much history, and like I if you're comparing speedways, you can't. because they're two different eras. You know, that's what I say now. Like, I'll be on Gav's side. So he got to race at Claremont, right? And he was a good sprint car driver, and he did all those other divisions as well. And I got to do bikes in their prime. It was cool, mate. Like, I can say, I used to call me 3 hours of fame on a Friday night because I worked across the road at a panel shop. Did my apprenticeship for Alan McCarthy, who was a good sprint car racer.
Yeah.
So I'd go there, be a superstar for 3 hours, and then next day I'm rubbing down cars again.
Yeah, back on the
It was,
scene.
yeah, it's cool. And then with the Motorplex, the facility is just amazing. You know, like I've been to a lot of speedways, probably more than most, obviously with my Europe stuff. And you look at that place is hands down the best. Like the way it's run, the way they do everything. We're lucky to have it in our own backyard. I think, I would say honestly, they're just two different eras. The Claremont was just so good in you knew when you won a race there. If you won King of Claremont, that was a big event for bikes. If you won that, you knew what was on the trophy. So you had Ivan Major, you know, Hans Nielsen, bloody Simon Wigg, Glenn Doyle, Glenn Taylor, all these legends of bikes. So if you got your name on that trophy, that was pretty cool. If you won a state title, it was the same thing. Because Con what Con was really good at was promoting his product, making us superstars, right?
Yep.
And I love him for that. He was good at it's a different era now. So we were the guys making the Speedway money, I suppose. That's how it's perceived. I'm not sure, kind of be the only one to tell you that, but now we pay to race. So that was a different transition for all of us.
Yeah,
like I kind of got it when Ron stopped racing, because Ron was probably still good enough to keep racing and keep winning. And now I look back at it and I go, so he just made a choice. That was his time to go. He was the king of the sprint cars then. And we all had to get used to going, well, we've actually got to pay to race now. And I was still racing bikes at that time, right? So I just refused to race here. I was like, no, I'll get paid to race in UK. Why would I come back here and pay to ride my bike?
Yeah, that's true.
So I only actually raced here twice. And it wasn't for free.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful I did, but, you know, it was different. The bike thing was different racing at the Plex because we were used to racing in front of a big crowd.
Right.
Mate,
there.
At Glenmore, we'd run this far off the fence on the bike if the track was out that far, you know, and that's what used to engage the crowd so much because they all knew we didn't have brakes. So look at these clowns.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what would make that exciting. But I've often said, if they could ever do it one night, geez, it'd be good to see a long track race around on the Motorplex on bikes. If they could ever do that, I'm pretty sure they couldn't. But yeah, it would be pretty cool because they're fast, really fast.
So then, looking before we wrap this up, mate, what gets you excited? What are you excited for this year?
This year, pretty much excited for the season we're going to do. We're going to do a shorter, I suppose more condensed with Ronnie. I'm looking forward to doing something with a female racer. Mm-hmm. That's been a kind of a long-term goal for me. I would like to see more women in our racing. And if that's the way we can start it, she's a great ambassador for Speedway in general. So we'd like to see more women coming out of dirt carts and other forms of racing into our sport. I'd like to see that change. So I'm really looking forward to that. Obviously, we're doing Pro Speedcar Week again over East, which I'm involved with Travis Mills and Andy and Shane Collins. So that's sort of all full steam ahead at the moment. And yeah, currently this week we're doing the Speedway Swap Meet. That's something we want to sort of try and make an annual event. Yep. So that people, because we all struggle with it in some form, like you can sell some of your older stuff to turn over, put in new stuff. So I kind of want to make that a regular thing, and the money that we raise from the bays we're given to the cancer research. So which affects everyone. So looking forward to doing that.
So the swap meets this Sunday? Yeah,
this Sunday from 9 to 1 p.m. at Auto Masters in Maddington, which is basically the Maddington Shopping Centre. Mm-hmm. There are bays can be shared If they want up to 2 or 3 people, they're $100 a bay. You can bring your stuff down before 9 o'clock, and we'll be packed up by 1 o'clock. There's a coffee van and everything. Even if the general public wants to come down and have a look, the RC club's doing a bit of a demo for us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be good to see everybody, and I'm pretty sure we're tying up by 1 o'clock, so people, if they want to get out and watch the races at Ellenbrook, they can still do that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Mate, well, we'll put an asterisk on it. We'll have to touch base again. But, hour and a half, mate, we've cracked this one out. Again, I told you we'd barely touch. Like, you could go on again. Right, you could just get, like, I got heaps more questions. It happens every time. I drive home and I'm like, fuck, I should ask this. I should have. Why didn't I go on this? Like, but nah, mate, it's been a wild hour and a half. I liked it.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I've enjoyed it too. It's nice to get some of those stories out and people hear my stories.
I'm hoping to get heaps of feedback, mate. It's been pretty good so far, but yeah, really appreciate you coming in. That's us done. We'll get you home before that traffic kicks up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate. Bye.